Hi, I'm Misty SOLDwisch, and I've been successfully selling real estate since 1999. Find out my secrets on how you can do your best with Be Better DSM.
Hey, it's Nick Baldwin, Lab Coat Agents. We're live today with Molly Stewart from Home Warranty of America, and we're also live with Misty SOLDwisch, who is an agent. She's been in the business for 19 years. She was a broker owner. She's also a team leader. She's had a team for 6 years at Better Homes and Gardens. Last year, her team did 371 transactions, which is absolutely incredible. And she has been leveraging Home Warranty of America to get listings. And I'm really intrigued by how she's doing that, because there's a lot of misunderstanding or just not understanding at all about how we can and when we should suggest or offer a home warranty. And I'm also really curious as to how you're leveraging getting the listings by using that. So I'm really happy to have both of you here. We're going to clear up a lot of misconceptions and bring a lot of value to our viewers. So thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Awesome. So where do we want to start? Molly, let's start with you. Tell me a little bit about Home Warranty of America and some of the things that you offer and some of the products that might appeal to buyers and sellers these days.
Sure, definitely. So Home Warranty of America, we are the only national 13-month home warranty company, which is nice because it ends up being lucky 13, and your clients still get to call in on month 13 and save themselves some money. So most homeowners are not familiar with home warranties for that seller and that buyer, just like they're not familiar with the lender, the title, the home inspector. They don't know much about it. And so for the realtor to add value to their portfolio of services, one of those services is the home warranty. So when they're getting their listings and they're having that seller say yes to them, they're letting them know Misty's so fabulous at it about the home warranty and having that free seller's coverage during the listing period, getting them to maintain their home, fix things up, but more importantly, having the seller pay for it for the buyer coming in. So she then does that second process of attracting the buyer with the home warranty as well too.
For sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so when you propose a home warranty to a seller who doesn't have one, what is the process in terms of having them understand like what this covers, right? Like, because I think a lot of people are like, well, that might be a waste of money or it's not going to cover that, right? So how do you put that value proposition forth?
So Misty, I'll let you speak in a minute here. What I always tell the realtors, because we don't want them, having to dig in, all the guts of the warranty. It's just too much. So I always just say, think peach, right? Peach, plumbing, electrical, appliance, cooling, and heating.
Ooh, I like that. It's a good acronym. Everyone loves peaches.
Yeah. And so when they're sitting with their seller and they've got the back of the brochure, it shows all those appliances and other systems that are being covered during listing period as well as for the buyer.
And it's a really great peace of mind, right? Right, Misty? Don't you think it's a peace of mind?
It is. It's I think that the thing that stresses out sellers more than anything is the fear of the unexpected, things they can't control. And right. The way I explain it to clients is this is a way that we can keep you in the driver's seat during the process.
Got it. That's really great. So tell me, let's back up a little bit, right? Tell me about how you first came across the benefits of home warranty and how you started to realize that it would impact your business in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that I learned the benefits of using home warranties the hard way, which is
isn't that what everybody does, right?
It is. I mean, when you have a painful transaction that a warranty could have completely avoided everything falling on you, you go, maybe I should do it differently in the future. And really, I mean, that is how I came to, I'm all about risk mitigation for my clients and for myself. And so just seeing how unexpected expenses and having buyers come after sellers for things that really could have been part of that package to begin with, maybe go, you know, I need to be better at articulating to a seller, because it's exactly like Molly said, like we're the ones who know how this process goes. And if we're not great at explaining it to a seller, they can go, oh, another $500 to $600 expense. No thanks. I'm being nickeled and dimed for everything. But when you really help put it into perspective of the big picture of this large financial transaction and the protection it gives them, then it becomes a no-brainer.
So from what I'm getting from this is, it's great because you said you learned the hard way, right? So everybody, yeah. So like I'm originally from New Jersey, and we have flooding in New Jersey, and everybody gets a sump pump after their basement floods, right? You learn the hard way, right? So when you get the home warranty during the listing period, the benefit is that God forbid anything goes wrong with the house, right? Like a basement flooding or whatever. I don't want to jinx anything right now, but you're covered, right, for that listing period. And then the buyer has a peace of mind knowing that they're entering into a deal and they're going to own a home that is covered by Peach, you know, like you just said, the acronym, which I think is great. So is that what I'm getting? So like for that 2 or 3 month listing period, when you get an offer to under contract, there's that peace of mind, right? Anything that goes wrong that could potentially kill the sale would most likely be covered if it falls under those 5 categories.
Well, and then not even, I mean, that is one amazing benefit, but I think a really compelling argument for sellers is to explain that, you know, buyers, when they're in their inspection period, they are going to be looking at things with a less harsh lens if they know they've got 13 months of coverage after the sale happens. So they might know that, okay, the furnace isn't brand new, but I do have this strong guarantee that I can extend in the future if I want, and instead of making it a deal breaker when it really shouldn't be.
Right. So you're saying, so through the home inspection process, things that might be seen as much worse in the eyes of the buyer might give them a little bit more of a less stressful feeling, like, oh, you know what, maybe I won't hit them up for that because I know that I have the peace of mind that this home warranty is in place for 13 months and it will have it covered.
Absolutely.
So Molly, let me go back to you for a second. So how does this work? Because the way I've looked at it is kind of like you go to the doctor and you have a copay, right? And you pay that $10 or $20 copay and it covers your doctor visit. Is that similar to how a home warranty might work depending on what the issue is?
Correct. So when that homeowner is calling in a claim, that contractor is going to come out and diagnose the problem, and then they're going to have to pay that contractor that copay right up front.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it works similarly. All right. So I'm sure that there's different different copays for each problem. And are there different copays for there isn't? Okay, it's the same. No. Misty's shaking her head.
Yeah, it's the same.
See, so I need to be informed too. So I'm learning a lot from you guys as well. I want to take this back to my agents. So how does it work? The contractor comes in, and then what happens from there?
Contractor comes in, they're diagnosing the issue, and at the time when they're in the home, that homeowner is going to pay them that copay, whether it's $60, $75, or $100, depending where you live in the country. That's what they're going to pay, and then that contractor calls into HWA, and they take it forward from there on ordering parts or replacing.
I love it. Okay, great. That is, I mean, there's every so often where I have offered a home warranty, but I think I need to brush up on, the reason why a seller should have it. And we discussed that previously. So I'm glad that you kind of explained how you went through driving home the value proposition. Misty, do you pay for the home warranty, or do you just talk about the benefits of them getting it?
I just talk about the benefits of them getting it. We put it in an estimate of proceeds up front when we're talking about pricing strategy and where the proceeds will be at different potential marks in the proposed marketing price. and just explained that that is a great investment to make to protect the end price and your end financial gain on the home.
I gotcha. Okay. Hey, I'm going to answer a few questions from the thread here. Molly, go over Peach again.
So yeah, home warranty, again, think Peach. Plumbing, electrical, appliances, cooling, and heating.
I love it. It's so easy. So that's basically the inner workings of a home. Everything that keeps the house running on a daily basis. You know, you're covered, and what, it's like $500 or $600 a year, something along those.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, $500 or $600 for lucky 13 months.
Right. Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And so what about basement flooding? I mean, that's kind of like, you know, someone's asking, is that covered? But I would assume maybe if you have a sump pump or something, would that be covered?
So basically with the home warranties, all home warranties, if it breaks down due to normal wear and tear, is when that claim's going to move forward. So basement flooding, you know, during a hurricane or whatever, chances are they're going to have to use their home insurance.
Right. I mean, because that's like an act of God.
An act of God. Right. Right.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about like, you know, are any age of the appliance at this point? You know, like let's say you buy a house and there's a furnace that's 50 years old. Like in New Jersey, lots of people have 50-year-old furnaces. You know, and by the way, in my opinion, the 50-year-old furnaces are the ones that never stop working.
Exactly.
It's true. It's so true.
They made them last instead of making them to become obsolescent.
Yeah, I've sold homes with 50-year-old furnaces, and the home inspector's like, you got another 50 years on this.
Yeah.
And then you have the new furnace that's got a life expectancy of 15 years, right? So do you guys cover primarily any age, or are there certain variables that has to be met?
So home warranty companies differ on that one. HWA does not discriminate for age of the home or any of the appliance or systems. So they are good to go. And I was just going to say too, real quickly, I know when I'm talking with the listing agents, I know their goal is to sell that home quickly and at top dollar and to truly walk away from that home. They've sold their home, they get to walk away from it. And with that seller purchasing it for the buyer coming in, like that's the true value of seller's coverage. I deal in claims every single day for all my national clients, and we probably get 90% of our claims the first 30 days of the buyer moving in. So
really?
Instead of the listing agent hearing from the buyer's agent where there was no home warranty in play, they get to call HWA, and you and your seller get to walk away from it.
Why do you think you get most of your claims within the first 30 days? Because people don't know how to use things and they break them?
You know, for whatever reason, like we cover for unknown. I mean, for whatever reason, things are breaking down. You know, they just seem to fail.
And I've wondered about that. I think it's a new owner uses like sometimes someone can be in a home and never use their dishwasher just because that's not part of their routine. Like if it's a small family or whatever, and then someone comes in, it's always, like you said, Molly, it's right away that you see those problems. It's right away that all of a sudden the weather changes and they need to flip on the AC and, oh my gosh, it hadn't run since last year. And it doesn't work now. But it really transfers that from being like, oh, the seller knew, and they, you know, buyers naturally go to that when there's an issue. Like, why didn't they tell us there was an issue with this? And it takes that completely off the table. They have someone to take care of it.
Right.
So let's look at it from like the buy side, Misty, right? So I mean, when you're representing buyers, and they are, you know, they're looking at homes for sale. Let's say the home doesn't have a warranty because you're not the listing agent. Have you ever maybe gifted that or offered that? Because I can see how offering something like that could potentially turn into referrals, right? Oh, I moved into the house and the furnace broke after the first month, like Molly said, and Misty suggested the home warranty and it worked, and I'm going to refer her to everyone I know because it was such a great suggestion, right? What do you see from the buy side?
So it's interesting because you had asked about if it was something we included with listings, and I said, no, I see the value in a seller investing in that on their own. And on the buy side, our gift to our clients is negotiating well. And
okay.
part of that negotiation is making sure that's included and having that be a compelling argument as part of our negotiation. Even if that agent isn't pro warranty, explaining to them that this buyer is going to see the home in a different lens, knowing there's that protection. So I'm a big believer in, I think it's really important to do things that are of great value to our clients, but just giving it to them, I mean, $600 product, I think us having that be part of their negotiation, giving them the advice, negotiating it into the purchase, and then having them see the end result gets just as much referral love from clients as actually us spending the money as agents. And I think that can be a really dangerous trap that agents get into sometimes, of giving away when we actually did give them a gift in the first place.
Well, I actually just did the math on that, and you'd probably be in the red if you did that for everyone, basically. So,
yeah.
But I actually think the negotiation tactic is much more powerful, right? Like, let's look at where the industry is going right now, right? So, like, the industry is in a shift. It's not just in a market shift, but it's in a tech shift. And so us as agents have to be even more on our game when it comes to negotiating what's best for our clients. You can negotiate. Anyone can buy a home warranty for somebody, but if you use your expertise and negotiate that for them, you're right. Like, that's something they're going to be like, Misty totally crushed it and negotiated this for us, and I would recommend her to anybody because she gets you whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And if my math was correct, if you bought one for every home you sold, it would be over $200,000. So probably not the best thing to buy everybody that you work with. So negotiation is the best way to go about that. I had to calculate that twice because I thought I might be wrong.
You're like, it can't be that much.
No, it can't be that much. But no, that's great. That's great.
And also, Nick, I was just going to say really quick, what's nice too is the real estate agent gets to reach out to their client again after the transaction. So when they call in a claim, the realtor gets an email saying, hey, we just saved Sarah and Bob, $1,200 on their furnace. And now you get to reach out to the client saying, hey, I'm glad the home warranty worked for you. If you know of anyone looking to buy or sell a home, So it's nice. You can continue that touch program on.
Well, that's huge. I'm glad you brought that up, right? So the agent gets an email that their client submitted a claim, and then they get the email when the issue was resolved, right? I would assume something along those lines. Either way, they're getting a notification, right? So it's an opportunity for the agent to reach out, make sure everything's okay, to see how it went, see if there's anything else you can do to help them. I love that. Molly, that's huge.
Yeah. Huge. It's nice. It's a free touch, right? And so you can continue that relationship on even after the transaction. Like for Misty, I think in 2018, we paid over $64,000 in claims. Because he has a lot of home warranties. So it's a lot.
That would have been $64,000 in lawsuits. No.
Yeah, right.
So Misty, 371 homes sold last year. Approximately how many of those homes were you able to get negotiate or the home warranty for?
She did about 200, I think, Misty, right?
Oh.
Yeah, and we had land deals, we had new construction deals, but weren't necessarily as relevant for the home warranty. But we are a huge, that is a go-to that, and it's how both I train my home selling specialists and my home buying specialists. Like, warranties are important, and they are part of our strategy.
Oh, no, I agree 100%. 200 out of 371, regardless of whether or not the others were land or not. That's huge. That's a huge number. So that's amazing. And that's a lot of extra touches that you could be doing based on, the notifications of the claims that people are making. But I love that. And you're saving a lot of people a lot of heartache, especially when they're moving into the house. They don't know how to use things. They're breaking stuff. I remember I had a guy move into a house, and he didn't know how to use the furnace, and he turned it on and didn't know how to turn it off, and the thing went up. The water went up through the house, into the wall. Oh my God! We had a home warranty for the guy.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson.
And also, right, the buyer's spending so much money already moving in. I mean, they're spending so much money. They're fixing up this, they're remodeling this, they're yanking out the carpets, putting hardwood floors in, putting the fence up. It's a great peace of mind.
Well, so I've owned a home that was 100 years old, and now I own a home that's 20 years old. So there's pluses and minuses to owning old homes. The plus to owning old homes is that usually you find newer appliances, right, in a 100-year-old house. The plus side to owning a 20-year-old house is it's 20 years old, but everything in the house is 20 years old, and that's when things start to get to the end of their life. So I've been on both sides of the coin there. So it's really, really interesting. Do you have any specific, Misty, any specific tips for agents out there that are maybe having trouble like selling the value proposition to a seller? I'm not going to get, I'm not going to get this is ridiculous. Why would I need this? Nothing's gone wrong. And what's going to go wrong in the next 2 months while the house is under contract? What are some objections that you're facing, and how are you overcoming them?
Well, I mean, I think the best way to overcome objections on the warranty is just to have them kind of relate to situations they've seen before happen to other people and how we might prevent that for them. And I do think that the most compelling thing to a doubter is talking about the home inspection time frame and how that home warranty just makes it so much softer. And another thing that we do for sellers as an option is we do a certified pre-owned home program that they have a home inspection done up front, and then they pair it with offering the home warranty. And I think the compelling part to the doubters is saying that exactly what happened, that the hard part for a seller, you finally get a deal put together. And then if it was a lot of back and forth, that buyer, their goal is to get them in the home inspection. Like, okay, this is going to be my opportunity to renegotiate because the seller was, I felt like I paid more than I wanted to. And so I'm going to pick apart everything in this home. So what we say to sellers is, if we have that home inspection done up front and we use a great reputable home inspector who's not going to sugarcoat things, who's going to really show us what are the things that could be something that needs to be addressed, it puts you in the driver's seat. So you're calling the shots instead of the buyer's home inspector. And no seller wants the buyer's home inspector to be in control of what happens with their transaction.
Right.
And so saying, that plus layering that with a warranty, you are in complete control instead of someone else being in control. And I think the hardline sellers, that's the compelling argument for them.
That makes a lot of sense. Somebody actually just said, and I covered this before, agents should pay for it as a value add. So I just want to reiterate, when you're doing volume like Misty, two things. When you're doing volume like Misty, it's not cost effective, first of all. Second, it's so much more effective when you win, right? When you win that during a negotiation for your buyer, right? Anyone can pay for it. Hey, sure, I'll buy it for you. There's no skill involved in that. So when you are skilled in negotiating for your buyers and getting it, I feel like that's such a huge win, in my opinion. And I think, Misty, obviously you agree. But Rick, if you're paying for them and you're doing almost 400 transactions a year and 200 of them are getting the warranties, I mean, you're going to go broke, dude. That's all I'm saying. It's just like, it's not cost effective. But I agree with that. That's very cool. So a lot of people here are saying that it's, obviously it's the best gift. When you negotiate it, it's a great gift. Some pumps are covered, correct, Molly? Some
Yes.
pumps are covered. You do get the notification when there's when there's a claim, which is great because it gives you the opportunity, to reach out for that extra touch. So I think that that's super powerful. We haven't been offering them as much as we should. And yeah, Rick just agreed with me. Yeah, that would hurt. That would hurt if he had to pay for every single one. So he agreed with me. Yeah. So, and I'm going to start offering them a heck of a lot more, or not offering them, but suggesting them and putting forth the value proposition. Do you have in your listing consultation, do you have kind of like as part of it, the benefits, like, for them to see really clearly? Okay. So you can talk them through what that looks like.
We do. So, and particularly when it's talking about like pairing it with doing the pre-inspection, we talk about typically buyers estimate costs of repairs as being 2 to 3 times more than the actual cost is on most items. And so, and that's just, it's a human nature thing. And so we talk specifically about that, and just the way that we're able to eliminate surprises before it closes, and then also after it closes. Like Molly touched on, that when you sell your home, you want to walk away. You don't want to like be answering issues and questions about it right away afterwards.
Gotcha.
Or 6 months later, for that matter.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Somebody asked, Mary Carlton, how would you suggest negotiating a buyer to pay for it when you're the listing agent and buyer agents are not aware of what home warranties are for or the benefits of them? I'm trying to figure out that question. So how would you suggest negotiating a buyer to pay for it? Well, that's not what we were suggesting. I think we were suggesting negotiating that if you're representing the buyer, having the seller pay for the home warranty for the buyer, right? And so let me ask you a question. After you've represented a buyer and you go through a home inspection on a house that obviously isn't your listing, and you find that the home inspection has some issues, right? Have you found that when you negotiate a home warranty on behalf of your buyer, have you found that they sometimes, obviously depending on the person, have you found that maybe they back down on some of the potential issues that came up during the inspection? Do you think that could be something that might happen?
Well, I think it helps a lot, because if it's a situation where, like, I think that when a buyer goes through a home, like an appliance, they have an idea right away. It's not brand new.
Yeah.
It seems it's working okay, but it might have a little bit of age to it. They know, this is something that is fine right now. I might need to do something in the future with it. They have the home inspection. Maybe they get from the inspector looking at the serial number, okay, here's exactly how old it is, and seems to be working okay. This maybe isn't perfect on it, but it's working fine. Those are things that some buyers can kind of get hung up on. And it's like, okay, this is a $250,000 purchase. We're getting hung up on something with a refrigerator, an ice maker, not working quite correctly or something like that. You have a home warranty. So if it does stop working, they're going to take care of it. And the really great thing is, if they can't fix it, then they're going to offer a replacement. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And don't worry about getting hung up on this in the scheme of things. Everything else about the house is perfect for you, and you're protected.
Love it. Hey, Molly, so when it comes to the contractors, do you guys have Home Warranty of America preferred contractors, or can the homeowner at that point, call anyone they want? How does that work?
So we work with contractors throughout the country and get them to say yes to HWA. So when that client calls in, we're able to pull up the contractors right away for them, who's in their 20-mile radius, and reach out to those contractors and get one of them out there.
I gotcha. So you have to be selected. Is there like a vetting process?
Yep, there is. They need definitely to be insured, bonded, and have good reviews as well too.
I gotcha. And everybody's probably awesome, because they go through this process to make sure that they get the best service.
That's the goal, Nick.
The goal is for
That's the
everyone's
goal.
awesome.
That's the goal
And
for everyone to be awesome.
And
Okay.
I'll
You
piggyback
just sound good.
on that just because, you know, I'm in Iowa, and so we cover a really wide service area, and so there are some markets that we cover that are, you know, like an hour from a major metro, and so they're not as close to service providers. And what HWA does, which is really great, is if they don't have someone because you're in a town of 2,000 people, an hour from civilization, they'll let you, you know, they'll say, hey, we don't have someone that's nearby for this issue. Do you have someone in mind? And if you do, just have them call us and we'll get the process rolling. So they don't become the obstacle in that.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Is there anything that I'm missing or anything that I'm not mentioning that you feel people should know about that I haven't brought up?
So Nick, I was just going to go back to that one question. I forget whose it was, but that we're asking about if the seller won't pay for it.
Right. Yeah.
And they're the buyer's agent. So if the seller isn't going to pay for it, they really want to have their buyer represented and making sure they're covered because they are going to be spending a lot of money moving in. So we do offer a 12-month payment plan. If the buyer doesn't have that up front and they still want that peace of mind of having a warranty, they can take the 12 months and pay it out.
Okay. That's good to know. Misty, anything that I should have brought up that I didn't think of that maybe people should know about? You know, that I don't want to leave any stone unturned, for lack of a better cliche.
No, I mean, I think you hit the you know, broad spectrum of it. You know, it is a great tool for sellers for helping them mitigate surprises, which is the thing that sellers hate. It is a great tool for buyers to make sure that, you know, especially, you know, when you're making a move into a new home, you just, the fear of not knowing what expenses that you're going to have is a big one, and this helps control that. And then, you know, beyond that, just as agents, we have tools at our disposal that add a lot of value to our clients and then also mitigate our risk because, you know, whenever something goes wrong, it's amazing how it's the agent's fault. And, you know, it's just we're the we make so much money and we didn't tell them about this. And so whatever we can do to help mitigate that, it just keeps our business strong.
Yeah, so one of the things that my team does is we suggest a pre-home inspection, but I also feel that, you know, a pre-home inspection, I tell them, listen, do a pre-home inspection, but what you have to understand is, you know, the person who's going to then come in and inspect the home for the buyer, it's probably not going to be the same person, right? So I think the pre-home inspection combined with a home warranty could really be, you know, like that double threat and that extra, you know, the extra form of comfort. So yeah, I think that that it's both of those combined would be. Do you suggest pre-home inspections by any chance? You do?
Yeah. With our certified pre-owned home program. Yeah.
And Nick, if I can just add to that, one misconception is, you know, they might be talking to their buyers or their sellers and saying, oh, just get the warranty, everything's covered.
Right.
And especially if they're not even doing home inspections and the buyer moves in and, you know, and there's several main items not working. For the warranty companies, it has to be in proper working order or it's going to get denied. So, you know, I'll hear, oh, y'all, you know, you didn't cover anything. You denied everything. And, you know, if there's a home inspection report and it wasn't fixed at time of home inspection when it should have been or replaced, the warranty company isn't going to move forward with that.
Right. It's not like if something's broken, but when you move in and you knew about it and then you have the warranty, they're not going to then come in and I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. So just educating that seller and buyer on the whole process.
But just as a plug for one reason I really do like HWA in particular is over the years, I mean, I've been a big warranty user for a long time. And over the years, the obstacle that I've seen is that a service provider will then say, well, this clearly was a pre-existing condition. And it's like, well, we'd had a home inspection and they didn't note it. And it still was denied. And HWA, they cover unknown pre-existing conditions. So you had a home warrant, or you had a home inspection, and it was something that just wasn't in the scope of the home inspection or wasn't discovered in that, that claim can't be made, which I think is really a great benefit to our clients.
So yeah, I just want to say before we wrap up, I really think that the strategy is fantastic. You know, like you go in and you just relay to the seller, listen, you know, and things may not have gone wrong in the 30 years that you lived here, but we're going to list your house, and when we get the offer, it's going to take, you know, 30 days or so to close, and you just want to make sure that during that time period, you know, nothing goes drastically wrong. And if it does, you're going to have that coverage. When the buyer comes in and does a home inspection, we can, you know, use the home warranty as a negotiation in terms of saying, like, listen, you know, this may not be working the way you would like, but we do have the home warranty in place, and it is covered. And then vice versa, when you're negotiating on behalf of a buyer, negotiating that home warranty to maybe offset some of the issues on the home inspection that, you know, that seem to be minor but are bothering the buyer. Because, you know, listen, we've all had deals that almost fell apart over $100 because people aren't in the right frame of mind. Yeah. So like I had a buyer almost back out over $100 over a wire on the outside of the house that didn't have a conduit, you know, covering it. And it was $100 and the seller wouldn't do it. And I said to her, hey, just curious, tomorrow morning after you back out of the seal over $100 and you wake up, are you going to feel good about that? And I said, because your friends are going to ask you what happened. You're going to have to tell them, and they're going to tell you you backed out or over $100. You know, so it kind of like, you know, it puts things into perspective, and it can it keeps those conversations from happening, right? So yeah. Both ways it can be a huge benefit. I love it. I love it. Great. So this was awesome. I learned a lot. I took some notes over here. So I'm going to start implementing some of this stuff. And Molly, thanks for being here. And
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here as well. It was awesome. And if you have any Home Warranty of America questions, Molly, I'll tag you in the post. People can reach out, and I'll tag you, Misty, as well. People can ask you any questions they want if they want to message you through Facebook. But awesome. I'm glad you guys were here, and I had a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Thanks so much.
Misty.
Thanks, Molly.
All right.
Bye. See you later.
In the month of December, we had 793